Hi, good evening, guys. This is SK. I hope you all did very well today. Ending up in green. I did pretty well, just having fun with my wife and a few meetings in DC. And watched a movie as well. So, no trading day for me, but a good quality time with my family and all. So I want to start my recap bar by bar video by sharing this picture which I shared with you guys on Twitter account early morning, where I said tails 4 hour chart might see sell off from the open. These are the tails which I was talking about, and these are two lines which I had pre-market. I had from a couple of days that we can see some kind of a pullback from here. There's a green line here, and if you see my video which I made before the open of the day, that this is the blue line which is the next target which we will be testing it. I shared this thing, I believe we were Monday. I shared with you guys that this blue line is the next target which we will be testing very soon. So looking at this picture, let's see how where do we stand as of now. So as of now, if you see, we were here, we were on this candle, and we poked through this blue line, and then we saw a bounce, and we tested this line, this resistance, and right now we are trying to make a triangle, a breakout mode, where we can go either upside or downside. Possibility is that if we break this green trend line, we can see the next high, which is 208 or something like that. The other thing is, if I do here, let me do the 5 minute chart. I mean, if you see the 5 minute chart, let me just do this very quick. Okay. So on a 5 minute chart, I believe this is where we started. Today is, let me do that very quick. Settings. I mean, yeah, on a 5 minute chart, if you see, we did not poke through this trend line here, which is our blue trend line, until the end of a day. But whereas in 4 minute chart, in 4 hour chart, let me go back and do this settings. Whereas in 4 hour chart, we have already tested that. Let me do that 4 hour here. We have already tested on this open of the day. So basically the point here is that the trend lines we are drawing on 4 hour chart might not look similar, or might not give us the same kind of a setup in 5 minute or in 10 minute or 15 minute, as the time frame goes very, very, very small. So 4 hour chart can work similar in your hourly chart, but not on 5 minute chart. So the trend lines need to be adjusted. So mostly what I do is on a TC 2000, I have a S&P chart here. I trade here. I look at the 4 hour chart. In the beginning, just at the open, I do look at 2 minute chart, but after that I just look at this, I look at 4 hour chart and the trend lines, and I see where the bounce is coming or not. Let's see how we should have taken our day today. If I would have traded my day, if you see my Twitter account, I was already, before the open of the market, I was bearish and I was ready to short the market for a quick scalp or something like that. I mean, this is a candle, this is a bear candle, where we can see that the target most of the days when we bounce like this from this, the target is we can see some kind of a sell-off from the profit takers, and then we'll see, we see any bounce or not. Over here, it's very simple that it's bearish. So what should be the order? We should have one or two tick below the low of the day, and see if we get filled, we'll go for the next leg down. First couple of candles I do scalp, then yes guys, if you see on a second candle, you can see, if we have placed our order here, we can go for the next leg, we can take our profit. It's more likely a scalp, but this tail here is giving me an indication that buyers are buying, assuming that we are going for the next leg up. Then we see a few couple of legs like that. Bulls bought here, but they couldn't take the high of the day. So this was for the beginners. There is no trade here. For the beginners, it's just they should wait for the second entry. Tails are there. If you see my Twitter account, while I was driving, I was watching on my phone. If you see at the Twitter account that I mentioned that tails are coming, we can see some kind of a bounce here. But the rule never changes. The bounce, but we need a second entry. I mean, I would like to share something here. Over here, after this candle, honestly, I would have bought this. I would have got filled. I would have got filled. My stop would have been a stop here, or like after the candle closed, my stop is here or something like that. And the next candle, come on, okay. And the next candle here, I would have lost money. So this trade was a trap for me. Again, I would have put my limit order here. I would have stopped here. Limit order when I always, if I'm trading 5 contracts, I'll trade 1 or 2. I would have had my stop here, and this trade would have been a losing trade for me, because this was like this would have filled me up. But again, for the most traders, like I would have traded that, because I sometimes take the risk. I change my rules. But like most traders should wait here for the high of the day. Those who are trading 1 contract or 2 contract or trading very small, they should wait for the high of the day. And then we saw this kind of sell-off. Is it entry 1? No, this is first entry. So right now again we need the second entry. So this kind of a price action after this kind of a sell-off, whereas after this sell-off, this candle is somewhat like we're going more down, and the tick should be below. We should have our order placed here in the low. But we never got filled. We saw this kind of a bound. We saw this kind of a dodgy candle. So this means bulls and bears are fighting here. There is no position, there is no trade. We saw some bull bars. I mean, over here, if you see, like we are kind of making this kind of a trend line, and we closed above the trend line, but again, we can place our order, a limit order here. If we go above this red line, this thing over here, we should have our limit order. With this limit order, if we get filled, we'll see bulls will try to take high of the day, and this will be good. And we saw this kind of price action. Let's say you missed this, and you saw this kind of a candle. Whatever pullback comes here, most of the time we buy that pullback, and then we scalp it out. So right now we did scalp it out. This is very bullish. Looking at this, like these tails over here is simple. For us to get a second entry, for us to get a second push, we need to see bulls closing near the high. What was these tails telling you? These tails were telling us that bulls are buying, and sooner we're gonna get a deeper bounce, a higher bounce. So right now here I look at here and I see, okay, these tails are not looking good. So what I assume here is I will only buy after I see a bull candle closing near the high. So right now we see these tails, and we saw this kind of a price action. Will I short? I will not short either. I will not even buy, because this is not a good pullback. These tails are not looking good. These tails are saying that we are in a bull trend, but we can see a deeper pullback here. And we saw this kind of candle. Honestly, if we see this candle here, like if I would have traded, I would have expected that we can see some kind of a bounce from this angle, from this price range. We would have seen some kind of a bounce. That's what I would have expected. But like over here, we saw there is no bull, there is too many tails, no bull candle. So definitely some bull case is weak here. So we saw this kind of a sell-off here. With this kind of a sell-off, I hate when I do not have the mouse in my hand and I have to use all that. So this kind of a sell-off, this is a climate sell-off. This is all the bulls who are holding their position, they are selling in a panic mode that what happened, what got hit to the market that we saw this kind of a sell-off. But remember, we have our trend lines from 4-hour chart. This is our 4-hour chart, and from our 4-hour chart, now this is very important, guys. Now this thing from 5-minute chart, the trend line will not make any sense. But from 4-hour chart, we are poking through our this trend line, which is our blue trend line. Remember, if you have seen my old videos, I mentioned that when we poke through this blue trend line, dotted trend line, most of the traders would start shorting the market. So we are poking here. What would you do? We will start buying, because high of the channel we sell expecting it's a higher it's a great risk reward ratio, but a low probability trade. Similar way over here as well, like it's a great risk reward ratio, but it's a low probability. But most of us should have bought here with scaling a little bit lower, with the stop of this candle, which is 1975. So similar here, like we should see the bounce here, as we are looking 4-hour chart and we are comparing 5-minute chart. And this is what we saw after that. So what happened here? What happened here is, all this price action, what was it? This is the bounce from this trend line. I have shared this, how to trade this, how to put stops in the first or second recap videos which we have done. We're coming up with the study material where I'll be sharing all that too. But listen, again, it's very simple. This trend line I have for you guys before even the market opened, that I mentioned in my video, that we will be testing this blue trend line and we'll be going for the next leg up. So I mean, how simple things can get. We poked through this and we saw the next leg going up. Honestly, for me, most of the days I only trade the first candle. I do not trade a second 4-hour candle. So like I trade 9 to 12 or 9 to 1 or 9 to 11. That all, everything is at the end of the day, everything meaning everything is in one candle for me, which is 4-hour candle, which makes a lot of money for me, which gives me high and low, which gives me trend lines. This is very important. I cannot explain everything in one video, but definitely we will be coming up with our study material where everything gonna be very, very clear. So you saw these kind of tails here, right? So what do you expect here? You saw this tail, this tail, this tail, this tail. So this tails means we are near the high of the day. We can try to poke through that. If this is gonna be breakout from the high of the day. If we fail from the breakout from the high of the day, we can get a deeper pullback here. I'm just gonna fast forward it. So what happened here? We tried, we poked, and we saw a deeper pullback here. Why? This is push 1, this is push 2, the third push failed. This is push 1, this is push 2, the third push failed. So remember, the rules never change. I have shared all these rules in the previous recap videos. Go back and look on those recap videos. This is push 1, this is push 2, this is push 3, and after a push 3 we often get a deeper pullback. On the other hand side, if you have drawn a trend line here, if you have drawn a trend line here, you can easily see that okay, bulls are failing. So there are many ways to look at the chart, there are many ways to look at the market, but like the simpler way is the pushes, breakouts, and breakout fails. This is a breakout fail near the high of the day. This is third push. After the third push, the third push we saw a deeper pullback, and this deeper pullback, you should have shorted this guy, this candle here. After this breakout, this would have been your scalp. This would have been a sure short scalp here. That's I mean, most of the days we make easy money, but few days we need to see when the support has been taken. We need to scalp for 2 points, 1 point, 3 points, whatever it's coming. If you're doing if you're taking trades in your if you're option trader, you should have bought here. You should have bought here, then you should have scaled out. So basically at the end of the day, every day will not be as difficult as this price action which we saw today. Most of the days are very simple, but when this kind of a trading day comes, change your mindset up, start trading scalp, trade some limit orders, see whatever you can make. Do not rush a trade, do not try to build a trade, do not try to make a trade when the trade is not there. Remember, our trade is never overdue. We have 6-7 hours of trading day where we can make a lot of money. Wait for the right setup. Do not start bombarding at the first candle that, okay, let me make money. I need 400, I need 200, I need $1,000 a day, I need $100 a day. Let me make it and be over with. Let me make it and over with. No. Say, I'm looking for a good setup. Setup is not coming, I'm not trading. It's very simple. So after this, we saw this kind of a pullback. This is push one, push two, push three failed. Then we saw all this price action. Basically what I wanted to share here today was that I want to share this push down, and the trading range, where the trend lines what we have on 4-hour chart, the meaningful, the why there is a greater meaning with 4-hour chart and 5-minute chart. The trend lines we have from 4-hour chart, we failed here again. Right now it's alive. We're trying to break out. If we break above this green line, we will be bullish. Or it is looking kind of a bullish here, but we need to take over this resistance and we are good to go with. So it's my advice to you guys, do your own recap. This was a weird price action for most of the traders. First day, initial day, this was a good to make money, but after that it was just trading in a very tight range where most of the guys might have lost a lot of money because the setups were not good. But if you see, after this, we saw a pullback. This is push one, this is push two, this is push three. Then we saw this, then we bears try to break even. What happened here is, this kind of a nap period, nap time, what we normally say, it happens from 11 to 2 or 3 o'clock. What happened, the first half of the day was very, very aggressive, and it was producing a lot of money for everybody. So what happened, everybody was making money here, and the end of the day, we just traded in a small trading range, which was about you can say, it was 60 cents, that means 6 points. So it was not moving a lot. It was just trading in 6 points, up and down, because the real momentum has faded from the initial couple of hours of the day. I hope this video makes a lot of meaning to you. Remember, 4-hour chart, we need to have our trend lines, and we trade from 5-minute chart, and money lies all in our trend lines. Do not depend on any indicators. These trend lines are there to make a lot of money for us. Focus on that. Do your recap. I cannot make you a successful trader. Mr. Albrook cannot make you a successful trader. None of the successful traders cannot make nobody a successful trader. Only it's you. I have done my homework. I have learned everything from Mr. Albrook, but I believe I have changed over 70% of what he teaches. I have done my own researches. I have done my own extra efforts, and I have put a few setups which Mr. Albrook does not even teach, because these are my setups which I have mixed match, and I feel that I can trade them very well. So similar way, once you're gonna take my study material, you take Mr. Albrook's study material, you take anybody's study material who is successful, who is not teaching to suicidal penny stocks, who is not teaching you something like where odds are not favoring you. Somebody who's teaching you where the odds are favoring you, go ahead, take a course. Everybody is honest there. Everybody is trying to teach you something good. Just try to get the best thing which belongs, which suits your own personality, and money is there to make for you. You can make so much money. I mean, it's magical, it's so magical that you'll be like, wow, I mean, how much can it be made? This is the best thing. This is the best gift from the society, from the industry we have, that we can trade stock market. We can trade as a day traders. We can make a lot of money. Be patient. In 8 hours, in 6 hours of a day, you cannot say that I'm gonna be done with 30 minutes or 5 minutes or this or that. You need to be focused, trade well, trade small, and trade the best setups. That's the key. Thank you guys. Bye bye.